Boy, do I have something to tell y'all. Just stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Y'all, let's just say I took a trip on the wild side last night. I stepped foot in my first strip club
Strip club.
at 25. um, I have a very estranged relationship with sexuality, with flirtation, with all of that, right? And as I've grown into my adulthood and as I've gotten older, I've had the pleasure of being in close proximity to other black women that or femmes or non-men that have raised me in my sexuality. Like they weren't firsthand, I wasn't doing anything video-esque or anything like that, but they essentially typed it, worded it, showed me, lived it in such a way that said you can be black, femme, sexual, and sexy, and you're still worthy of anything that a clothed, modest, conservative, non person of color would be. And it's a long way going and coming. We're not at that as a consensus by any means, just judging by how little black girls are still sexualized in mainstream media. But I'm excited that I have left behind a lot of the gatekeeping, a lot of the problematic thought processes that I had for myself that I didn't know that I was harboring. And I'm so glad that I let those things go. And that's how I ended up on the stage.
Wait a minute, what?
I had to take a second. I had to pause it because I didn't think I was going to say that, but it's out there. So my first time stepping foot in a strip club was as a stripper. Um, as you guys know, I'm autistic, and simply put, it was a very interesting experience. Being autistic has a magic layer to it. It has this superpower, I like to call it, because sometimes it can be very exhausting, very hurtful. But it has this superpower where you can essentially, I don't know the word. You can essentially switch gears, I guess I could say. You can it's like an on and off switch. It's called disassociation and masking. And essentially, I have never worn less than like a pair of shorts and a camisole outside. I've never worn sheer. I've never, I wore heels late. Makeup came late. I didn't start my period till 17. So I am late to the game, y'all. And last night was interesting to say the least. I picked my outfit, my shoes, all that kind of stuff the night before. It was very spontaneous. Once I got home from like work, like regular work, I sat down in the car alone and I called a couple places and asked what their audition protocol was. And I was like, what do I wear? What are you expecting from me? House fees, things like that. Things that I've learned watching other favorite YouTube strippers of black women or femmes. And I called one and I wasn't really feeling them. They didn't really seem like they wanted to give me the information I needed. They didn't really seem like they had time to talk to me. So they weren't my first choice. The second one I called, I got another lady. She was very kind. She was patient with me. She made sure to give me the logistics, the yeses, the nos, the what to look for, the what to do, what not to do, things like that. She kind of bottle fed the baby stripper in me, and that's the one I went to last night. And when I got there, naturally I was just in, regular stuff. I had on some leggings and my coat because it's cold. I get cold. and my little knee-high boots or whatnot, just flats. You wouldn't have known where I was going if I didn't tell you, And I had my little knapsack with my outfit in it. And I walked right up to the manager and I said, "Hi, I'd like to audition." And he's like, "Well, we don't start." And he, picked up this phone. I'm like, "Till 8?" And it was 8 o'clock. So he was very, I don't want to say respectful, because that like elevates the fact that he treated me like a person instead of how dehumanizing sometimes sex work or stripping can be. But he was very appropriate in the way he talked to me, looked at me, always in the eyes or away from me. He didn't ogle me. He didn't say off the wall things to me. And he took me back to the dressing room. I saw a couple other ladies in there, very kind souls. And I switched out to my outfit, asked their opinion on a couple things, and walked back out in my attire. And I walked over to the DJ booth. They asked me what 2 songs I wanted to pick. I picked my 2 songs. They said, "Okay, for your first dance, XYZ. For your second dance, XYZ." And I'm like, okay. A couple of the things I was like, maybe not. And I didn't. So, but everything was okay. But then autism kicked in. I completely disassociated. I had no bodily awareness that I was next to naked. You couldn't have told me that I was naked. I didn't feel naked. I didn't feel nervous. When I saw myself in the mirror, it was like watching another person. It was very odd. I also couldn't hear the music.
Couldn't hear the music?
Yeah, that would have helped. I couldn't hear the music. And I guess it's because when I focus so heavily on something, I get tunnel senses, is what I like to call it. So if I'm reading something, I can't hear everything else. If I'm performing a task, I won't hear, see, like my peripheral like narrows, things like that. And every once in a while, I could hear the music. Like I would hear the music, realize where I was, and I'd be like, oh, which at one point caused me to trip over the pole.
Cut it out.
Yeah, sexy. But I tripped over the pole and I didn't fall, but I just kind of like smiled at the admirer that I had at that point and just kind of kept going until my 2 songs were over and got off the stage. I went over to the bar, let the bartender know that I had finished my audition. I didn't see the manager, so I'm not quite sure who was watching me. I guess it was just the people there. And then we did, he confirmed my age and my ID for a second time. And I call back in a couple of days to get my schedule. It was pretty wild because when I got dressed today, and I didn't have like a bra on at first, but like when I got dressed today and I put on my undershirt and my hoodie and I didn't have a bra on, I was like, oh, my nipples are showing. So it was very odd that, but it's kind of like they say, it's a job. It's not like I'm just going and that's who I am as a person, even if it is, even if I was a sexy lady who was totally fine with having her nipples out and everything, stripping is a job. And when I put my outfit and my shoes in my bag and I go to work and I come home, I'm still me. I'm still very modest. I'm a prude. I didn't make any money last night, because it was an audition. I didn't make any money last night. I didn't do any dances or anything like that. But it was an interesting experience because the girls were like, "You got some swag." I'm like, "Swag?" But they were like, "You got swag. Where have you danced before?" And I'm like, "This is my first time stepping foot in a strip club." And they're like, I'm like, "Yeah, me too." But it was very odd. I didn't count on autism being that big of a part of my experience. I mean, I know it's a part of me and I know it makes a difference and everything, but I did not realize the complexity that which it would affect what I was doing that night or what I hope to accomplish. I have an audition tonight at a separate place and I'm hoping things go a lot better. I don't even know where to go from there. I just hope that things go a little better. And I'll just see where it goes. I've been, sharing all these things and, commenting on these things and high-fiving and hand clapping and praising, other women for owning their sexuality. And all this time I've been like, I want to be a stripper. I want to see what that experience is like for myself. I want to meet the women, behind the pasties and the cute shoes, and the women that I talked to last night were so wholesome. They're just women at a crossroads. This is not at all like a easy thing to do. It's not something where unless you're just that sexy lady that's like, sex is easy for me. Well, not sex, but sex work is easy for me. Showing my body to people is easy for me, which is cool. That's, but I didn't know that I would be able to do it. And I didn't know that my autism would actually help me in so few ways, in realizing that I am capable of basically being the apple of someone's eye. It was so funny. I told my friends, well, I told one friend, and she was like, yeah, I've done it before. And I'm like, you too? And it's really cool to like uncover the layers of your friendships and where you've been at the same place at different times and things like that. And it was so funny because she was like, this has to go on your channel. And I'm like, am I about to tell people? Because anybody that knows me is going to be like, you did what? When? With who? Okay. Like, but it is just, I'm proud of myself though. There was a lot of reclamation that came into me calling, auditioning, and walking out and still feeling like me. Not feeling like I had made a mistake, not feeling like I had, devalued myself, anything like that. It was really incredible to feel that powerful, to command that kind of attention safely. It was, I didn't feel like walking through that club, I didn't feel like I was in danger. I didn't feel like what I was wearing was any different than a t-shirt and jeans. And that could be a bit of naivety. But I felt very comfortable in my skin because that's all that was there. Yeah. So this video is way shorter than normal, but I just wanted to like give you guys like a small update of why I haven't been here. My thighs is on fire, y'all. I tried to walk down some stairs this morning and I did not know. Okay? I don't know that I can bend down tonight.